This is the after party. Your hosts are the Great Order and No White Guilt. As for the crown winner of last week, the crown goes to the wonderful Heidi Van Buskirk for gifting a total of 25 Prometheus Rising dollars. Congrats, dear lady. Congrats. Thank you so very much. In second place was 41 BMC, gifting $10. Congratulations to you, good brother, and thank you in addition. You can financially gift on Entropy in just a moment when I have it rolling, where you can also watch the stream and ask and vote on questions in the Tall Kevin widget. You can also financially gift on Cash App, and as you know, Jared and I evenly share the financial gifts with our guests here on the after party. Now, our guest today, whom we have on tap, is Eke Lux. He's running a bit behind, and we're reaching out to him now. Seems like today, with all of these things going on, earlier we had the endless tech difficulties on PWR, and one thing after another. And now we are hunting down our guest here today on tap. But nonetheless, once we have Eke with us, he will introduce himself to all of you, especially for those who do not know who he is. If you know Eke, why don't you give him a message? Let him know it's showtime. But once he does that, then we're going to go into a conversation where we are going to be continuing our discussion about all things going on in the U.S. and the world today, not the least of which is our stupendous victory here in the white positive sphere, doing all that we can do for white well-being. And
were we supposed to both come in on victory? Did I miss a cue?
I guess we can, but we're good to go. How's everybody doing out there? Mr. George, how are you doing, good brother?
I'm excellent. I'm excellent. For some reason, as we were discussing before the show, even though my lighting situation is the same as it always is, both today and 2 days ago, Monday, when we had that extra celebratory Going Free stream, it's all washed out. I don't know what's going on, but I'm healthy. I'm good. No one get concerned. I appreciate your concern, but the lighting is just a little different. I don't know why I'm blown out here. Nothing's changed, but that's my experience with computers. Sometimes they don't like to work the same way, even though you do the same things. Funny that even though we spent all this money on computers and it's this thing we rely on, they still seem to have a mind of their own. First and foremost, we hope Eke is okay, given all the craziness going on. He has been on streams with us twice. He was one of the very rare folks who actually appeared on an After Hours first, before we got to know him better on his own tap. He was on After Hours last December.
Right.
Because there was a special, we use After Hours sometimes for more focused topics, or it's just a little more loose, kind of a catch-all After Hours is. And he had done a lot of research on a particular situation going on at the time. You may remember in Jason's home state of Virginia, a lovely state I have enjoyed traveling to many times myself growing up. And the gun grab thing going on there, and there were some interesting situations. He had really been following it closely. So we tapped him in for an After Hours, not to confuse you using the word tap there, but we chose him for an After Hours because he was very well researched on that. But then he had his own tap, his own after party episode in February earlier this year. So as always, those are on our sites. Those are on the afterparty.tv. If you type in Eke Lux, you can go enjoy his wisdom, his unique perspectives. He does his own underground kind of stream. It's a low-key thing. I like it. It kind of has like this cult classic, not bestseller kind of a vibe. Kind of like the throwback to old FM late night radio. He's very mellow. I like when people have their own style, their own character. I appreciate that. And he's not quite like any other streamer. So he's always has some interesting takes, and he comes from a different background. He's in California, so he has some interesting perspectives on that. And he still calls himself, it's interesting, although anyone that doesn't know him, don't cringe at this because it might not be what you expect. But in his own words, he even calls himself a centrist sometimes. And he comes from a very liberal background, as he'll explain, but he's very, very against the anti-whites who call themselves communists. In fact, on his TAP episode, I'll give a little plug for it, he actually talked about how, because he spent time around those circles and even knew older people who'd been involved in like McCarthy era stuff, he kind of had this interesting perspective and some broader, deeper knowledge about that and how infiltrated it's been in certain quarters of American society for so long. So interesting guy. We hope he's okay. If he can't show up tonight, Jason and I are just going to continue the party, celebrating what we were celebrating on Monday. We can recap that, take some of your questions, hang out with the community here, see what is going on. There's never a shortage of things to talk about, especially in this fateful year of 2020.
Absolutely, and very well said. A great roundup of some of our discussions that we had with Eke earlier in the year, and absolutely the kind of things that perhaps people might want an update on. The first thing is that the Virginia state government did move forward with many of these different bills, and the majority were knocked down, and a couple now have moved forward to the kind of things that are going to be challenged in court and defeated in court, because you can't, at least at present, the certain things like the right of self-defense can only be hamstrung so much in the United States by the states. So they can't go as far as they would like in most places. In very narrowly focused jurisdictions, they have a little bit more sway. But generally speaking, they're going to have challenges here. And it's exactly what I anticipated. If we go back and watch those shows, those conversations, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see that this is obviously the way that these things are going to end up being challenged and defeated. And we hope that we expect, rather, not just hope, but especially with this enormous victory we just had, to recapture our destiny before the anti-whites are able to take too much away from us. We have Jennifer is here. Hello to you, a dissident Celtic. Let's see, Takar, the great Althea is here as well. She says, hello, No White Guilt, Jared George. Hi there, gents.
Hello.
Bigot Smalls, the great Donning Armor, never felt guilty. The great Elaine Sabatino saying she used up all the leaflets and has emailed me looking for more, and I will happily send them. Fraulein Dresden is here. Hello, dear lady. And she says, I'm here, NWG family, driving through Georgia. Big Promethean hugs. Be safe out there. And
yeah, she's on the road a lot.
You should, indeed. The wonderful Misty is here as well. So Simon and 41 BMC, our second place winner from last week. Great to see you, dear brother. Machiavelli sucks. And Art Acrobats, a bunch of heroes. So it's great to see you all. I want to mention, too, as we are potentially awaiting the potential arrival of our guest, and again, and I echo what Jared said, that we hope everything's okay with him. Jared just produced a video that you all should definitely watch, and I'm gonna play just maybe like a minute of it here for you all, and then you can get on over to his channel and watch the rest of this video. It's about
I'll put some links. I'll put some links in the chats.
Jared will be dropping the links. Tom is here. He says, "Go free." Damn right. And Nope is here, and White Rider is here. A great hello to you, White Rider, immediately messaging me, and thank you so much for that, with the information of Peter Kirsanow, I think is what his name was, from the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, was on Tucker, and we had, of course, the president retweeting anti-white, and then Peter saying on Tucker Carlson that last night that the critical race theory is anti-white. And that was just absolutely magnificent. Continues, this is the flood that we have engendered, and we should absolutely be celebrating, continuing that celebration. Let's have a quick look at Jared's video, and about 60 seconds or so of it, and then we will be right back.
Weekend holiday in the U.S., the first weekend of September 2020, President Donald Trump ordered a purge of critical race theory being taught to federal workers in an official memo and order. He acknowledged this indoctrination and the term white privilege as a sickness. He went on to retweet posts that use the term anti-white, which is the inoculation normal people need against the mental poisons and emotional cages we've been infected by in past decades. This is not random. If you understand memetics, language, psychological warfare, you'll see what's going on. Maybe you need a hint, so here's a clip from a special September 7th Going Free stream celebrating this tectonic shift in public language, which shifts public perception and personal behaviors and choices. And even though I shouldn't have to say this, we live in an age when nuance is lost. So no, this doesn't mean I support Donald Trump and everything he does. This doesn't mean that I'm still not aware of troubling associations he has or other things he might do. Be an adult and take your own sovereignty back. This is simply about how we use this.
That concept of the ideology that defeats that ideology that has defeated Western kind has now been legitimized by the President of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, the most powerful office, the most powerful country in the world, has spoken that word into legitimacy just 48 hours or so ago. This should be the biggest celebration. It should be a week-long celebration. Everybody who claims to care about white well-being should be celebrating right now.
But you may hear people say, what are these guys doing? This is just talking online. This is like, what are you, a bunch of women in a parlor? This is just talking online. Let me explain something to people right now, and let's clarify this once and for all. We've clarified it before, but now we have a mandate. Now we have something to go on. These battles have been mimetic, okay? And that word meme meant something prior to those little pictures of the graphics you see passed around on Twitter and other social media, okay? That's a form of a meme, but a meme is a thought. It's essentially the same thing as it's a meme in a negative sense, pathogen, like Jason talks about in this psychology, in this lexicon that he's developed, that he's taken these concepts and he's given you something concrete to use. And that's exactly how this mechanism works. There are things that have been emphasized in the public discourse for the last several decades. And there are things that have been de-emphasized or hidden from you because that language has been taken away from you. And if you don't have a word for something, you don't have a concept for it. I think we all know that. It's pretty basic. That's pretty essential.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a magnificent video. You want to go over to Mr. George's website to see the rest of that, especially because this is, and it absolutely is warranted, for this occasion. This is when you will see Mr. George the most fired up that he has ever been, especially about these different ways that folks try to diminish the work that we are doing.
I get a little more into it after.
Yes,
Jason's teasing you because he left out the best.
The best is to come. So make sure you go over to Mr. George's website. I saw this earlier. This video, it is absolutely fantastic, and you don't want to miss it. Once we're done here today, get on over to Mr. George's, not website, but channel, YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see the rest of that video as the burner gets turned up on high.
Oh, it's on the site actually. It's on.
Oh, it's on the site already. Okay.
It's good no matter where anyone goes, but yeah, YouTube, BitChute, Instagram. I always try to put them on a few places, but we always like you to go to our sites. So that's greatorder.com. Always good.
Yes, indeed. Althea says Scott Adams said the classes are, I guess, those classes of critical race theory, which is anti-whiteism, just another subset of the superset that is anti-whiteism. Scott Adams said that those classes are anti-white at least 2 times, she says. I don't, I'm slipping me who exactly he is. Is that the health guy, or is
Sorry, I was going through some of the chat. Scott Adams is the cartoonist who started the Dilbert cartoon.
Oh, right. Okay.
And came over to
That's
more
right.
be like a Trump guy, and was a pretty well-known figure on Twitter in the 2015, 2016 cycle. He's one of these guys that was in with people like Mike Cernovich, and
Right.
they did a lot to tweet out and influence some people, I guess, get some people open-minded to Trump who
right.
might not otherwise be so. So he kind of built his reputation on making some predictions about Trump. He was an early adapter, I think, as well. He was like not the kind of guy you'd think. I don't know what his past was like, but I wouldn't imagine that he was some like out and out right winger, right?
No, I'm sure.
Probably was very different than that. And so he made this switch, and then he made some predictions and goes on that. I don't know much about him. I'm sure. I don't want to say too much. I think people in our circles think that, you know, he's probably a bit of a gatekeeper, doesn't see certain things. But I don't want to speak too much on something I don't know enough about.
Yes, yes. Well, you know, keep an eye on that. Bottom line is those, if he uses
Anyone saying it.
Sorry?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Anyone saying it who has a platform. Yeah.
Yeah, is going to work out for the work that we're doing. They can want to serve as a gatekeeper as much as they want, and they'll just be undermining themselves. If that's what he's doing, then he's making a big mistake by using anti-white. Let's see, who else do we have here? Destructo is here. I also wanted to show this. Let's see if I can show from Links in the Shadows. Has a very interesting show. It premiered this past Sunday, and she has a little 1 minute clip of an introduction to the series that she and another person are doing. And I can show that really quickly because I think this is going to be, it's another artistic element of white positivity that we need to be encouraging. And so let's take a quick look at that. I think I'll stay here on video and just mute myself, but really fascinating looking. Let me just stop that. And you are most welcome, Links. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for doing that, because that's the kind of thing that we need. We need plenty of art. We need to be covering these things like news. We need to be covering the philosophy and the philosophical angle, pulling out all that we can that supports and bolsters the work that we are doing. And primarily, we need to be pushing like hell against the warfare, psychological warfare that's waged against us with this tool of psychological defense. And I just want to remind everybody. I had to remind somebody after the show, a big supporter of a past regime somewhere on planet Earth, that regime lost as well. Whatever they think about, whatever that individual thinks about that regime, they need to appreciate the fact that it also lost to anti-whiteism. So there's only one thing that we have left, and that is a psychological defense for the psychological warfare waged against us. We need to push harder than ever, especially now that we've just been legitimized by the President of the United States. Let's see, eternalism has just shown up. And what is this news that we have here, Jared, about?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Please, go ahead.
just to put a button on the Links and Shadows thing, because I asked her more about what that series is, she said we'll be looking at folk tales from all over Europe, looking for the deeper meanings and what we can learn from them now. Well, I definitely like that. I was doing that on some of my Red Ice videos, so kudos to you. That sounds like a great initiative. Look forward to seeing what you're doing with that.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see watch the episodes. I think there's been one so far, but there are more to come.
Yeah, a lot more of that. I know Tony Vermont from our friends at White People's Press Publishing, who does the quarterly magazine. Another one should be coming out soon. Him and I are collaborating on something. He's a busy man. He has yet another project where it's, I believe, 50 folk tales for Western children, but really nice coffee table luxury book kind of presentation. That's more the direction he's going in. He'll be on soon at some point and tell us more about this. This is just a little teaser. But a lot of people are mining our rich heritage and bringing it back to life now, reinterpreting it now or reframing it now, not necessarily changing the stories, but seeing, like Lynx is saying, how we can use them now.
Precisely.
Beautiful thing to do. Beautiful thing to do. We know that those things have been co-opted in mass media, and we need to take them back. Anyway, you were saying something about stories and what I was sharing here.
Yes, what you shared with me.
Well, just someone in the chat was saying that they were concerned that the story, while it's a big deal to us, is boring to the average person. I think that's what sharegrams, if that's what you're saying.
You're right.
It might be perceived as boring to the average person, so won't really go viral. Where that's where we come in. That's where all of us come in. We have to be the algorithm. Right. News media doesn't want people to know this because the people that are running these things don't want these terms in the general atmosphere, like we were going so deeply into when we were celebrating this. Look, the dam's broken. It's a matter of time. And I think that we're already feeling this tipping point, this wind at our back. If the president of the United States is putting out official memos, and Jason, was it officially, it was an executive order? Am I correct in saying that?
I believe it's correct for the critical race theory, and then the other is an investigation into, and then the oral threat that these schools won't receive funding if they teach the 1619 project. And if anybody in the chat knows otherwise, please go ahead and mention it, and we'll look up the info and see if we can find it here. I see that Heidi is here as well. Great to see you, dear lady.
Yeah, the main thing was federal employees, specifically in the state of California, as I understand it, we're going to have to do this mandatory training. So the most precise verbiage and the most urgent action was on that. But then Jason's saying that there was investigations. There's a memo to an office of, I always forget if it's Office of Budget and Management or Office of Management and Budget. But anyway, and I even did a video on it earlier. But anyway, it in this official memo that was shared not only by Trump, but other people in the administration, it not only specifically talks about critical race theory, it also says the term white privilege actually has the word white privilege written out. I read it on Monday night's stream where we were on for a long time celebrating. It's quoted in a Breitbart article that Trump retweeted. It's right there if you want to go look it up. It's not hiding anywhere. White privilege, and that these things have to, in one tweet, he called it a sickness.
Yes.
So I don't really think we can hide this. I understand what you're saying, that to the average person, it might not seem like a lot. They might not connect the dots. They might not understand, as I was saying in that video and the clip I made of Jason and I from Monday, this is how your brain, not you listening, not you here, but the collective you, we, our families, us, the brainwashing, the dark cloud that's been over everyone. This is how it's worked. It's been through language. It's been through perspectives, things that you're corralled into thinking one way and not allowed to use words or concepts to unlock your mind in other ways. So certain things are emphasized, certain things are de-emphasized. This is the magic of language. This is changing. We have never in our lifetimes, and even people older than us, even middle-aged people, probably never in their lifetime seen something in the popular discourse, and certainly the most powerful man in the world in terms of office, using something that is so antithetical, and it pierces at the heart of the very concepts that have kept our people in shackles most notably and poignantly in these last several decades. As I was saying, a lot of it kind of started, not its roots, but came to really fully bloom its poison fruit, as I like to say, in the 1960s. So it's all our lifetimes. This is the what's been just in the air. And this language is shifting that. And there's no way it's going to be able to be hidden. That doesn't mean that we should sit on our laurels. As I like to say, we are the algorithm. We can't rely on, certainly on some kind of a neutral social media platform's algorithm to share it. And contrary to that, we know that there are actual people making decisions, making deliberate choices to curtail or hide this or obfuscate it or kind of twist it in a different way. So that's why you need to share it. This is the time, if you want to understand how you can be participating. And you say, what can I do? I'm not sure if I have any talents that can play into this. We're all here online. You're listening to this live or replay. You're online. Okay. You can start an account and start engaging in the MAGA community. This is the time to reach out to the MAGA types and broaden their horizons a little bit more, give them a little bit more of the story with patience, with class, with everything that we are about here, of course. Do it in the right way. Be pristine, be a noble person, represent our people and your ancestors in the best light. But this is the time to reach out to those people and other kinds of people. It's like getting your foot in the door. It's going to widen. The gap is going to widen. We have to do work as well, but it is a watershed moment. There's no reason not to celebrate. There's no reason not to smile. Don't let that, modern cynicism rob you of joys that are legitimately joys.
Precisely. Yes, very well said, Jared. Exactly. You should absolutely have an ear-to-ear smile for the next week at a minimum. I know I'm going to have one for about a month after all of this time pushing and arguing and debating. I can't even tell you how many arguments I've been in at conferences and the after parties at after the conferences, and then sometimes several of the after parties at conferences, and then the after parties when the conferences have fully ended. Been in debate meetings and the like, debate after debate over this, and you would think that it would be the easiest thing, just it would make sense, and that's what, of course, what's going to happen now. This is why it was, but knowing what we know behind the scenes, that it was just weeks ago that I said it, and we can go back and we should go back and find it, or if somebody does, I'm going to really appreciate it. I've said it a couple times on the Going Free streams. You better get on board now, because very soon it won't take as much bravery to be a part of what we're doing. And in fact, and that indeed then happened. It doesn't. Now you see other people easily using anti-white all over the place like this, whereas before that was, maybe a person might have briefly muttered it here or there, as you all know. Now it's a flurry, and it's going to be happening increasingly, and there's more that can't say, but there's more to come. And so now is the time to get really brave and be really excited. There'll be many more people coming on board now, but we are going to always be those of us here who are pushing and have been pushing and keeping this healing and restorative fire alive. There is those folks are going to remain the elect of the elect for all time. It won't matter. All the people who come, and we're going to have to keep our eyes open, just as I predicted back before the fad term alt-right became popular. I said we're going to have to watch out for. We didn't use this term, but merchant right, because I said they'll show up, and indeed they did, and they came in and made themselves tons of money. And by doing so, we're going to have to keep our eyes out, and we're going to fight off the merchant, whatever they call them. These maybe we'll come up with a new term, some sort of merchant term for these individuals who want to show up and they just want to make a profit off of what has finally become permissible. Well,
Jason, you haven't told them yet about our mug collection and our weekend retreat we have coming up that you can buy into.
Yes.
What about that business we're starting, where if you get in on the ground floor?
Oh, yes, that's it.
it's a guaranteed passive income for the rest of your life, bro.
Yeah, invest now.
Just look at my garage. After this video, I'm going to show you a tour of my garage and all my Lamborghinis, bro.
Well, I gotta mention really quickly. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that Eke is okay.
Yes.
Isn't it interesting, an odd coincidence that PWR today we could not have our guest earlier today because of Orwell and Good, because of the technical difficulty, and now we don't have our guest here today. I guess it's apropos that we don't have our guest today here on tap. We're not going to be here a whole lot longer, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have any questions or comments or something you want to talk about very soon, right away, let me know, because we're going to be rolling out pretty soon. Discipline with NWG on that channel, where I see Magic Man and who else is over there? And then over on No White Guilt channel, of course, on Entropy. And we had, I'll mention now, we had Western Sunrise. That's a fantastic name. Actually showed up before we went live, Mr. George. And I have to look into the back here on the back side of the dashboard to find that Western Sunrise financially gifted 25 Canadian dollars.
Thank you
so very much for that. And those Canadian geese dollars. What was I calling them before? What did it have to do with? I think it was the goose.
Maple leaves? No.
The maple leaf dollars, the Canadian
maple drenched dollars.
Well,
they're very proud up in Canada. They'll tell you. You've never had maple syrup.
Oh,
until you've had it in Canada.
So you've actually had the official.
Yeah, they'll tell you northeastern U.S. maple syrup is not. They'll tell you they're very proud. They're very proud up there. I've been to Canada. Beautiful country, beautiful people.
Oh, I like this Western Sunrise.
Beautiful people. That's the Trump again. Beautiful people in Canada. Beautiful people.
That's Trumpism.
Wonderful. Some of the best people I've ever met.
Oh, they are. But Western Sunrise jumps into the live chat to say Canuck coins.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I like that. Good. Western Sunrise writes here with those 25 Canuck dollars, Canuck coined dollars. All at least something worth supporting. Well, thank you so very much for that great testimony to the work that we're doing for White Wellbeing. It's very meaningful. And we have, let's get a round of applause going, ladies and gentlemen. Some raucous emojis. Take them out of your pockets. I know they're cluttering up your pocket anyhow. So break out a few of those raucous emojis for Millennial Honky. Financially gifting $50, $50 US. Thank you so very much. Great name and a great financial gift here during TAP, and writing with those $50 US. Hail our people. Love you guys. No homo. I think the no homo goes without saying. Thank you so much.
It's implied.
But thank you so very much for that, Millennial Honky. And it's splendid to have you with us as one of our favorites, one great participant among many, and all of us pulling a little bit of the load, and we're going to get somewhere. I can promise you. And we have, we have another financial gift that just came in, and I just have to swivel around. And while I'm loading this screen, and it takes an extra moment for some reason now because they have issues over here on the desktop version, but they'll be fixing it. We have.
While you look at that, if you need a minute, I just had a quick thought. What you were saying before, for anyone, Jason's absolutely right. This is going to get less risky, which ultimately is a good thing. I just want to say, for all of us, that's going to be a test of character, because it will be tempting at times to throw that in certain people's faces and be like, you know what, I was doing something X amount of years ago. We were here, we were flyering, we had our faces up, whatever it is, we were participating, we were losing friends. And I just want to remind everybody, whoever comes to this for the right way and the right reasons, and their heart is true and their aim is true, whatever door they walk through, we celebrate that. We have to celebrate that. We have to celebrate any of our people getting healthy, and anyone, anywhere. I actually had a comment today, Jason, on the clip that I made on the YouTube version, the YouTube post for a little part that you showed before, where the person said, you're right, you and Jason say this, but you're right, you actually do have a truly diverse community, I'm actually, and I know you get this yourself, Jason, the person in the comments, that I'm actually non-white, but you guys are doing the right thing. You have my support. I don't see anything, coloring outside the lines here. They didn't literally say that, but that was that was the gist of what the comment was. So anyone who comes to this for the right reasons, we celebrate that. We aren't going to shame someone if they came late to this. The other side of that, and Jason, I don't know if you have anything, you might have a lucid observation here for us to keep in mind, but talking about the merchant right, or maybe some people that, however you want to classify them, maybe if they can't even be classified as merchant right, but they're just kind of big social media presences, and then once it's safe for them, what I would be careful for is them acting like they innovated something.
Yes. Yeah, that's really.
I think we need to watch out for that.
Yes.
Not that this is about credit and us patting ourselves on the back, but there's a line that we have to keep there too, where if someone tries to run away with this and act like they innovated it, we all have to be mindful of something like that. I don't know if you have a more particular point you'd like to put on that. I don't have a specific example I could think of what that might look like, but just as a category to watch out for.
Absolutely, because the issue is, and that's what these individuals will do. And I've said many a times, and many people here will remember where I've said that once we have some success, people with more capital, more social capital, more resources, more connectivity, etc., are going to want to sweep in, and it's entirely possible that these people could have anti-white sources behind them. Sweep in, they'll want to pace what we're doing. So they'll begin maybe using something like Antiwhiteism. And then what they'll do is they'll then want to lead after pacing, take you down another dead end alley. So we have to be careful. Right. We have to watch. It's not a stretch to imagine that somebody could show up in the next week, the next month, the next 5 months, the next 6 months, that suddenly they have a super slick studio that they're in, the money's behind them, and they have wonderful presentation, videography, and presentation of the stuff they're doing, professional lighting and everything, not just a couple of guys who've been doing this forever.
not my inconsistent lighting I was talking about.
Yeah, precisely. And then they'll sweep in, and they'll have probably also be given some fake subscribers so that it looks like there's this great interest that isn't actually there. They'll have all kinds of merchandise to sell, and they'll say, well, what we really need to do now is X, Y, and Z, and then take you down a completely different path. If you have found, which you have found here, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have to fight to the death for in service of white well-being, is the fount that feeds us, the well water that is actually salubrious and heals us, makes us whole again. It has been tested by the scientific method. It continues to be tested as we grow, and we will continue to apply this professionally and in keeping with all of the inertia of the previous success that has come from the past. And that will be the place that we need folks to continue to come to seek that truth out, to seek that source of healing out. Otherwise, they'll end up in places where it's almost guaranteed they'll be led down another dead-end alley. This is how the anti-whites usurp movements, but it doesn't necessarily need to be although it could be, it doesn't necessarily need to be something that's financed from behind, something that's some sort of covert, undercover shenanigans, when it can just be something like somebody's, or it's a group of guys. You could even imagine a group of white guys, massive college debt, unable to get jobs in tech industry or wherever they were trained, and then just saying, well, why don't we just go into this? It seems like everybody's interested in this now. Let's just get together and pretend like we're really into this. And Joe is great at movie making, and Pete can do this and whatever. And then they get together and they effectively steal the momentum. They steal what otherwise would be healthy growth. And it's like a creeper vine growing up a young tree. It ends up covering everything. All of the leaves that young tree had just opened up, those new green petals to the world, to the sun, and killing that tree and leaving nothing but that creeper left behind on that rotting husk. That we cannot allow, and we will do everything in our power and I'm not, no joke at all. Anybody who tries to run this onto the rocks, there'll be zero toleration for that. We are not going to allow that to happen. We'll do every single thing within our power to prevent someone from being able to do that. Now we have over here, and I got it to come up, and this is, gosh, good dear lady, which name is it that I'm allowed to say? $2 financially gifting, and she has some, it looks like autumn, like leaves, the changing leaves. If you're in the live chat, let me know what name that you, because I'm looking at both of them and I don't know which one I'm allowed to say, but I love your new photograph that you're using over there on that platform. So thank you so very much for that $2 financially gifting to White Wellbeing. And if I don't hear from you, then I'll just I'll pick one of the names. We'll go with maybe the top name here on the platform before the show's over. But we also have the wonderful and heroic Tall Kevin. We had Popcorn Power just showed up, and looks like American Zarathustra as well. Tall Kevin showing up over here, financially gifting $3. Thank you so much, brother. And writing, Jason, after the recent victory, could you make a video calling out all those whoever doubted you? Something like an old school WWF Macho Man Randy Savage or Hulk Hogan promo would be great.
Tall Kevin, I'm a little offended you didn't include me in this, because if we're going to go that route, then I think we both have to do it like a tag team.
Oh, yeah.
And, there was a time, I'm not into wrestling, but there was a time back in the day when they really were like cartoon characters. It was a whole different thing. And we'd have to do like that style, but we'd have to dress ridiculously. And I'd love to do it as like a tag, kind of like we're right now, I've seen those old wrestling promos, right? They used to do like, they were both standing behind just like a neutral background, but we would do it like this, two of us. I'd have to get in on that. Like, you know what they love to say? Let me tell you something. Every other sentence is, let me tell. It's like,
yeah.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to take you down to Chinatown in the WrestleMania. Blah 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 blah. It was like every other line is, let me tell you something, man. Your career is going to be over after this, brother.
Yes, that's what we'll have to do then. We'll think about that. I don't know though. I mean, it probably wouldn't be. I'm really getting short here on time, and the reason why, folks, is I have an IRL to continue pushing White Wellbeing in real life. Have some more amazing stuff coming up here in the very near future, and trying to wrap up Crucible as well, so that we can imagine now Crucible is going to come forward. The president of the United States just legitimized anti-white, and now Crucible is going to hit. This is the hand of fate. And I'm a firm believer in making our own luck. So we have to get out there. We have to make this happen. And we are doing just that. And we have another financial gift that just came in from our same. Okay, this is another $2 from Tamara. Thank you so very much. So she says, either way, thank you, good sir. Well, no, thank you, dear lady. For another financial gift, and hopefully I'll remember this time that that's the name that you want us to use. And we also have the wonderful hero Sloths is with us, financially gifting $3. Thank you so much, dear brother, for that, saying everything he had to say with those $3. And I will swivel back around here because I know we have something off to my left. And just as we were saying, we have Yiz stepping up and sharing with us that right after the president legitimizes the concept anti-white, the concept that undermines and destroys the ideology that defeated the Western man in all ways, defeated us. It defeated us with the psychological warfare that it wields, and then every place that folks have attempted to resist that psychological warfare without a psychological defense for it, the anti-whites then used the military and economic might of the countries around those countries and those areas and those states to then force them to heal. So we now see that there is only one route to success, period. And that's the psychological defense against the psychological warfare that is waged against us. He is the eunuch, a magnificent participant, shaking the world, sharing with us that Ann Coulter just tweeted to, how many followers does she have? Millions, or what is it? Some astronomical 2 million followers on Twitter just yesterday, sharing an article from the UNS Review that is actually titled Anti-White AutoZone. And if you look that up, ladies and gentlemen, murderer put in cell with a white man, then beats him to death. Now, I would guess here that if this article by a sailor had been written a month ago, anti-white would not have been in that title. So thank you so very much for bringing that to our attention.
It's snowballing. It's snowballing.
Yeah, it's absolutely snowballing, and we have to. And who was, somebody said was a woman in the live chat as I was talking about the kind of thing that anti-whites would do. She said they absolutely will do that, and we have to be vigilant. Whoever that was saying that, thank you so very much for saying that, because this is the case. We have to stay. This is another reason why we need to be getting this message to as many people that go free, and all the work that we're doing to as many people as we possibly can, so that when these individuals, and it's not if, it's when they show up, some of them might have anti-white backers. Some of them might be anti-whites themselves. Some of them might just be a couple of guys with massive college debt, and suddenly they're going to show up and they're going to say, well, we care about white people too, when in reality, they don't give a damn. They just see an opportunity to make a killing and pay off their student loans and get nice cars so that they can go through a new girl every week down at the bar or the club. We are not going to allow this to happen. Absolutely not. Absolutely nothing. I've been working for decades. There's no way I'm going to allow some dirtbags to move in here and then grab what we have engendered and have taken so long to get started, and is pure of noble and heart and spirit, and grab this and then turn it into some commercialized garbage that they then run into the sewer to make themselves rich. So thank you so very much for that.
That's the best case scenario.
Yeah, it's the best case scenario.
Like you said, you could have a more nefarious thing where all of a sudden you see someone with Alex Jones level production and set saying the kind of things that we do and others do in our sphere here and others in this community. And then it sounds good and you're excited. You're like, wow, oh man, this is getting more mainstream. This is getting more money behind it. It's flashy. It seems like it's validating things that you were hoping for and you were wondering if you'd ever live to see the day.
Yeah.
And they say everything we say right at the beginning. And then a month into it, they start slowly leading you down this Pied Piper's path.
Yep.
And something goes off. And then in a year from now, it's two things that are way out of sync. So we have to be very, very careful about all of these different possible scenarios.
Yeah, precisely.
While at the same time, it doesn't mean that when someone's new to this, it has to grow. So when someone comes in, you have to vet them in some regard. But we have new people in the chat all the time. We assume the best of people until they prove themselves otherwise. But we just have to be vigilant. We have to be aware.
Precisely. Very well said. Looks like I think it's Melania has joined us. I don't think I've seen
Melania Trump is here. Wow.
Yes.
We're hitting the big time. We are hitting the big time.
Overnight. Coconut is here. So many wonderful folks. Evidence violates community standards, and we have some more financial gifts before we check out, and I get packed, and I write the final things that have to get written and sent off to the others who deal with those things, and then we go work on some other things that are going to really make people surprised and happy, and more excitement is coming, and we'll just continue to make it happen. I mentioned slots, and we have is this Art as Acrobat?
I know he's in the chat.
Financially gifting $15. Maybe not. It says, love your show. Great information. Ace, actually, as I see. I won't
Ace.
say
That's a good word. I like that. Ace needs to make a comeback.
Ace. And if that person wants to let me know what name will be good, I'm being extra careful. I'll also say we have people who have power and clout that allow in important positions who watch the show, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the others might have larger audience counts, but we have where it counts. How does that sound? Thank you so very much for $15 financial gift and Ace.
Ace.
Okay.
When was that word in currency? 70s? Somebody tell me in the chat.
I don't know, but I've been
like that. Like that's Ace.
Ace. I like Ace and pristine for us.
He's an
here.
Ace guitar player. Yeah. Well, pristine's great.
Yes, we also have Zero Talent coming in, a great hero, great participant. $5 more financial gift from Zero Talent, writing "Keep it going." Thank you so very much. And Slot's also writing Ace and pristine. That's right.
I caught that. Yeah,
there are slang what we use over here when going free. And let's see. We also have. Let's get a big round of applause for this financial gift from Rub-a-Dub over here on Entropy, ladies and gentlemen. Break out those wild emojis. I know they don't want to stay. You don't want to keep them in your pants pockets. You'll have an allergic reaction. So break them out. Financially gifting $50. Rub-a-Dub. Thank you so very much to you.
Thank you.
Writing here. Thank you, Jason and Jared. Full steam ahead. Absolutely. When the struggle,
right, baby.
The struggle is only, we've had this big victory. We've come up to the rarefied air at the peak of this mountain, and we're going to keep just chugging along.
It's another base camp.
It is. It becomes another base camp. The peak of this mountain becomes another base camp, and we're going to keep moving from one peak to the other until our destiny is entirely in our hands. Yiz asks over here about being unbanned, and I wrote to you on Twitter, and it doesn't look like you've seen it. But you're not on my back end. So this is very interesting. On the back end of the dashboard here, you are not shown as a banned participant. So maybe if just try to write hello in the live chat. This might be some more anti-white chicanery going on, ladies and gentlemen. But you are not showing as banned on the back side of the dashboard.
The text's been a little fussy.
Yes. So let's see here. And we have Vogish Warrior. Jason, here's another big victory. Oh, we have this actually from Vogish Warrior. And Yiz got banned, he questions. Happened to me, forcing me to change my account. The mods have been banning longtime followers. Well, it wouldn't be our moderators. We don't have any here tonight. And
we have Bartleby is here.
Oh, Bartleby is here. Okay, great. Thanks to you, good brother, for showing up and modding. Oh yeah, there's Bartleby for modding today's show. But no, it's simply you're not back on the back. I'm looking at it, and you're simply not there. So we'll have to. I'll look again, maybe a little later. Maybe it'll update on the back side, and we'll make sure to restore you if that is or remains the case. We have Tall Kevin coming in again with a $3. Thank you so very much, brother. Jared, you could join the promo, but you'd be more of a hype man, Tall Kevin says, kind of like Bobby the Brain.
I'll take it.
Jared likes that.
Can I wear like a strange sequin cowboy hat or something? Like I said, those guys were characters back in the day. The older wrestling characters, man.
Yeah, they sure were. Popcorn Power says that Yiz wrote that message on the last stream. The message of being unbanned. Well, there would still be. I have a full list of everybody that is ever banned, and so it wouldn't matter if it happened 2 weeks ago, 2 years ago. The name would be up, and that's how that account continues to be banned. And it isn't there.
Is Susan here? Susan in the chat.
I think Susan might be with us. She's watching closely, and she's really fiddling, fingers going wild on the keyboard, trying to keep us from moving ahead. And she's furiously trying to.
She your main rival, the title bout, the upcoming WrestleMania.
She might be.
Is this what Tall Kevin's setting us up for?
Maybe.
The main event. The main event, brother. Let me tell you something. My man here, Jason Köhne, is going to take back the belt, brother. Let me tell you. No, let me tell you. Every other word's let me tell you something.
Yeah, because they got to try to regain your attention after they said something useless, and they're losing your attention. Hold on, I got something good to say this time. But what did we have? What do we have? We have. I don't think we have a question over there. Okay, I got to make the writing over there a little bigger. The conspiracy against my eyesight continues, and. Let's see. Vogish Warrior.
Anti-white conspiracy against Jason's vision.
That's right. Okay. Vogish Warrior says, now that even Ann Coulter is sharing anti-white, can we expect more conservatives to follow? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's what's been said forever in the white positive sphere about Marsha's here. Great to see you, good lady. And so is Andre Boston, about the masses of the white population. And we were talking about this very briefly earlier on PWR, is that they are implicitly white positive. They are. There is a natural instinct, of course, to preserve yourself, to care for your loved ones. And the evidence that these people are lovers of our people, our race, Western kind, is that Donald Trump, when he wants to get their votes, he throws out there the red meat of concern for them. And the fact that they all pull up to the table as soon as Donald Trump says, I've got some red meat for you, should be a great boon to us, because that means they want to hear from us. They want something that will give them another path, another direction, something that will be much more beneficial to themselves and their families, their descendants. Now is the time, really, when we talk about Ann Coulter here and her tweet, when we come out with Crucible, we should all be hitting somebody like Ann Coulter, trying to get Crucible into her attention so that she will then retweet it, so that she will then take it out to her 2 million followers. I mean, just imagine. We should all be, if you can, if you've ever tweeted her before, maybe she retweeted you or she responded to you or what have you. We should all be making sure that we create this sort of relationship with those individuals who could rapidly magnify the work that we are doing here in service to white well-being. So let's get. I really gotta roll. I would stay longer. It's already more than almost 20 minutes beyond what I was able to do. So let's get Mr. George's final thoughts, and then get ready for us to be back with you all next week, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. But Mr. George, what are your final thoughts on your continuing party for this enormous victory that we have had here in service to white well-being? What are you working on next? And let folks again know where they can find you on YouTube so that they can go and see as soon as we wrap up here. Watch that video that you have made summarizing the great victory video show that we had. What was it, 6 hours or so?
Yeah, on Monday night.
So please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Well, to your point you just made, Eke Lux, who is going to be here, and again, we hope he's okay. We know he's a responsible guy. He's been on stream with us 2 times in the past, so he might come back. But he actually, I was listening to a stream of his, had Cassandra Fairbanks retweet him, and he'll be the first to tell you it's not like he has some huge following or huge name. So these things happen. Cassandra Fairbanks doesn't have the pull that Ann Coulter does, but she does have a wider reach than a lot of us here. So all of us can pull in this direction. Jason's absolutely right. It's snowballing. It's happening. Believe it. I know you're used to bad news, but believe it and go with it and enjoy it and use the momentum. I made that video, as Jason said, the clip from Monday night's show, and you can find it on thegreatorder.com. Obviously, it's on social media sites, on video sites, but we always like to give you our URL first. That's what we really have control over. So my own is thegreatorder.com. That's the catalog of all the different things I do, how to get in touch with me, support, and the different social media platforms to follow, because that is important too. That is part of this whole ecosystem. More clips on the way. I'm looking at some other clips to round out what's been going on and help people keep perspective on it. Some of you may know, I have a new stream, a new series with John Bruce Leonard called Learning in Public. A very different kind of stream, more like the artisanal or fine crafts version of what a stream is, where you really get to see a conversation between people. And we've had some really lucid comments and interesting questions from the chat too. We're sometimes very spontaneous and we're chewing things over. It's a different kind of a feel, and it's supposed to be the opposite of the frenetic jump cuts and someone always selling you something and that whole kind of YouTube thing. Our people need that. I'm here for communication and culture. That's really my main interest and where I come from. So you'll be seeing more things like that. John and I, our next show, Learning in Public, will be this Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern, which is it's 6 hours ahead. So it's 5 p.m. in the afternoon in Central Europe. I guess that would be 4 UK. So hopefully that's a convenient time for some of you if you want to come by and see what we're doing live. Of course, all the replays are on my site as well. And more artistic things coming down the pike. As I was saying, I don't want to, Henry Ford said you can't build a reputation on things you're going to do, right? So I've been working and tweaking things and taking the time this summer to really double down on how I want to bring all these different interests that I have together and have everything firing on all cylinders, it's been great and I'm very excited about. But just look out for more things happening, more exciting things happening. Of course, Jason and I do a lot together here. Our shared site is the afterparty.tv for the streams, for the media, for a lot of community-generated media. And look out for the announcements of who's going to be on tap next and what's coming up and all of this great stuff going on. As I like to say, as I said earlier, be the algorithm. We're all nodes. Every one of you listening live now or in replay, we're all nodes. We're network connecting, helping other people, lighting other people up. This is how it happens. This is how change happens. And I leave you with that. I leave you with my best thoughts of love and peace, happiness and health for you and all of your families. And we'll talk soon. Thank you so much.
Very well said, dear brother. And do that, folks. Get over there and watch that video that he made. It's fantastic. I'll just tell that to you is when you see Mr. George come to life over this superb victory we've had. A big thank you to all of you all. Big thank you to my dear brother, Mr. George here. And congratulations to Mr. George and all of you, all of us, for the great success that we're having here in service to White Wellbeing. And it is just, we need to be ready
to you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you. We need to be ready to take advantage of the opportunities that are presented to us at this point and overcome the challenges, which we articulated a few here tonight. Let me also say quickly, if Yiz can still hear me, Yiz, if you could write a hello into the chat on Entropy, not into the question widget, but into the actual chat. Just write hello there, and let's see if it shows up. And I want to see what it looks like there, because I have some curiosity about how the anti-whites at YouTube might be trying to undermine the growth of the community, and we'll have to do some deliberations and then think about what we'll have to do moving forward about that. Okay, so there's Yiz in the chat here. Very good. Thank you for that. Thank you, everybody, as well as Melanie. Now that I could see, she said she got banned from Facebook, and she's happy about that. Well, I guess you have achieved some level of distinction.
It is a feather in one's cap.
It is indeed, absolutely.
Jason and I have a few feathers in our respective caps.
Right, exactly. Censorship all around for everybody. But thank you all so very much for being a part of this. Let's continue to build this community. Let's continue this great momentum of the victory that we've just had. Don't allow anybody to try to downplay it. Give them the opportunity to learn about really what took place when the President of the United States legitimized the concept that overturns the ideology that defeated Western kind. This is the kind of thing that we have to push now with all vigor and verve and passion and love that we can find to do so. It's been great to be with you all here today. We hope that Eke is doing okay, and we'll look for him to try to find out if anything happened to him other than potentially maybe a time mix-up or a tech difficulties, which is always possible as we were having today. We expect that to be the case, something tech-oriented. But keep an eye out. Let's keep the passion going, and we look forward to seeing all of you again next time.